into stick-to-itiveness.
Oh my gosh. Let me, I gotta send, keep speaking, keep talking, Dr. Sue. I'll be right back.
Listeners, we had a morning. Technical difficulties, but guess what? Patience had us here, and the hope of knowing that it was going to come back together. So here we are. We're going to be with you this afternoon for a little while and just giving you some information, probably a little music, because today was supposed to be a no music day. And just keep the vibe going, right, Leo?
Yes, yes, yes. And we had a session this morning with Khalid Thompson.
Oh, yes.
And we had to record. We couldn't. Let me turn the mic up so that we can hear you. Everybody can hear us quite clearly. It's been such a horrid morning. It's been bad. But we're here. And if Dr. Sue has to leave, you can leave me.
I probably will have to.
You'll have All right, so let's get up closer to the mic so that we can, everybody can hear us, right? Welcome everyone to the this morning or afternoon's experience right here on Facebook, on YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your family that we're here, and we are going to have a few people to interview. We have some topics that we need to cover between Dr. Sue and I. Dr. Sue, is it possible we could get that young lady on the line, Laverne, because she wanted to come on board, and that maybe that could start us off.
Okay, I will try to reach out to her.
Yes, and I get her so that everyone can hear her. If you so just allow us a few minutes to. They just came back. We just got internet back. They promised us at 11 o'clock, but it's just coming back.
The important thing is it's back.
It's back. It's back. And you're seeing us, and I have to go to Facebook to make sure that we are there. People are seeing us. We're just chit-chatting right now until we have get everything going. We have a whole lot of people to interview. So just bear with us, okay? Going to Jamaicans.com to see if we're live on there. And it looks like we're live on Jamaicans.com. We're going to be on Jamaicans.com for about an hour, ladies and gentlemen. The show is on.
The show is on. Its show is on.
And Dr. Sue needs to put the mic up a little bit closer to her so that everybody can hear her.
As big as my mouth is.
What a session we had with.
Oh, wasn't that so? That was so energetic, so
really,
informational.
Really nice.
Yes. She's a darling. I mean,
so
such a creative soul.
I'm so proud of her.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
very, very
yes.
proud of her.
And you know what? I've been with her over the years, just watching her develop and her ideas come into fruition and all that. And the thing that gets me is that she goes and she does it and she does it. And like she says, no money in her own, but she do it. And people would look at her, as they do a lot of people that they see in the limelight, not understanding the sacrifices that they have to make, and envy what they're doing, or just think that okay, they're just raking in a bag of money, but
people understand
they don't understand creativity. She comes up with the ideas. She executes them. They're coming about, and they're just quality stuff.
Yes.
And I have no doubt that in time.
What we're talking about today, you just talk like somebody when they hear it from.
Oh,
tell the people what you're talking about.
We were with Blondie Ross, Khalid Thompson, and we're talking about Taste of the Island, and they're going to be having an event on June 1st for the local people at the Miramar Cultural Center, which is Thursday, June 1st from 6 to 10. And so we were just talking to her about the event and, encouraging people to come out. But we were also talking about all the other ideas that she's had, that she's executed, the TV show, the magazine, and she just keeps going. And it's all good stuff. And you'll hear more. We talked about the fact that, she has now, for the new season, she got called for the new season on Beacon TV, PBS. And we're going to be having a Haitian chef involved this time.
Yes,
so
yes,
that's exciting. I can't wait to see that.
She said
So
that
with Chef Ari, we have Chef
yeah,
Tia.
Chef Tia.
Chef Tia, big up, Chef
And that's
Ari.
she's from Haiti, right?
She's from Haiti. Chef
I'm
Tia
looking
from Haiti.
forward to the Haitian
Oh,
food.
yes.
And there's something going on over at the city hall, the cultural center.
That's what I talked
That's what
about,
you're
June.
talking about,
Yes.
okay, right,
On,
okay.
on next Thursday, June
All right,
1st,
okay.
from 6 to 10.
All right, so guys, we have someone online who she's been a stalwart in our community. Her name is Laverne Deer. If you remember last month, she had she hosted what is called the Protect Them Gala down in
Protect the children.
okay, and the speaker that evening was the Honorable Juliette Holness,
Yes, sir.
the wife of the Prime Minister. Laverne actually went for she was.
You've got her?
Yeah, she's on.
Okay.
She's listening. I'm just introducing her.
Okay.
She actually went up for to become a nominee in the currently coordinated diaspora advisory election, and she didn't get to go forward in the election process. And so she says she has a story, and I want to hear. Not story don't mean lie, means that she has something that she wants to tell the audience because she feels that it's very necessary for her to say.
And I'm glad you're giving her the opportunity because I was aware, I was away for some
Yes,
time, as you know,
right.
but then just through social media, I was aware that she had actually informed the public that she was going to be running.
Yes.
And then, to see within a week later the names of the candidates
came
coming
out.
out, and
Yeah.
her face wasn't there. So people have been asking a lot of questions, and I've been seeing that on Facebook. I've been seeing that
Right.
on social media.
Yes.
So this is a public opportunity for her to
For her
try and
to see.
explain to people.
Are you
what
there,
has
Laverne?
happened.
Yes.
Miss
yes,
Laverne Deer.
Good day. How are you?
Great to hear you. Let me see if I can get some more volume for you. You can hear us quite clearly, right?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you both very well.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. So, tell us a little bit about you before we get into anything about election. Who is Laverne? Where she come from? Jamaica she come from?
Who you be?
Who you be? Yes.
Oh, that's funny. I be Jamaican. I am from Jamaica. I was born in Jamaica, but I left Jamaica when I was 9 years old.
Yes.
Migrated to the Bahamas, and then I went to school there for about 2 years, and then I moved to South Florida. I've been living in South Florida ever since. I graduated from North Miami Beach Senior High, and of course went on to college. Graduated from Nova with a master's in business. I do have my background in healthcare. However, as a healthcare administrator, I am currently an employee, a government employee here in Broward County. And I see in your introduction you were explaining so much about the whole diaspora thing, and I guess we will get into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can explain to you why I've taken the stance that I've taken, and it's only because that's my day-to-day function of my job that I do in performance improvement and writing policies and procedures. So I do understand a little bit of how I think things should be. But I am an advocate. I'm a community advocate. I do advocate for around the issues of child sexual abuse and anything to do with youth development, primarily young girls who look for opportunities to have a brighter future in life. So therefore, I advocate around any issues that ties around impeding these girls from reaching their full potential. I'm very involved in the local South Florida community, and I thank goodness for the support that I've gotten from both elected officials as well as friends and family and the community at large.
Yes. So tell us a little bit. You went up for the Diaspora Advisory Board member in Southeast USA, the Southeast region. Tell us what happened. Tell us from the start. The first day you decided that you're going to run, and then what happened after?
Well, I tell you, I was asked to run. It wasn't something that I got up one day and said I want to do, but I was asked to do it, and I thought about it. And after thinking about it and knowing a little bit about the history of the position, and knowing several of the people who has held the president, the advisory board member position over the years, and hearing some of the things that I've heard from the community, primarily those within the grassroots community, as well as the middle class workers, that they've never felt as though they belong to this diaspora group. They've always felt as though it belongs to an elite, the elite of the elite. So me being an advocate, when there are things that is not right, I advocate for change. So as I was asked, I figure, okay, the best way to really make change, because I don't always like to be on the outside talking, I always prefer to bring results.
Okay.
So when I was asked, I thought about it, and I asked several people their advice if they think I should go for it, and everyone that I asked overwhelmingly said yes. You've been doing the work for how many years now in your community between here and Jamaica? You would be the right person for it. So by hearing that I got the support from people, and also when I posted it on social media, the overwhelming support to go for it boosted me and motivated me to do it. So I agreed that yes, I would do it. But prior to even doing that, I then reached out to the chair of the board, and then I started asking questions. And I guess that's when it all started to go downhill, because I started asking difficult questions. I wanted to know and understand more about the structure of the board. I wanted to understand about the position. I wanted to understand about what has been done in the past. I started asking difficult questions. And sometimes once you start doing that, you start getting, not so loved response.
Right.
So I went ahead and I filled out the application anyway, but prior to submitting the application, when I submitted the application in the email, I wrote all my concerns that I was concerned about. And that is also including having 3 weeks to run an effective campaign. I don't see, or I've never heard of anyone running an election within 3 weeks. And I was assured by the chair that, don't worry about it, 3 weeks is more than enough time. We will be going out, and we will be also putting the information and campaigning for the position as well, which until now I still haven't seen anything coming from the election board my way. So it proved that my concerns I had back then was right. That if I'm going to be running for a position, I don't want to depend on an election board to be able to campaign for me. I need enough time to be able to strategically go out and campaign for the support, especially since it's for someone new like myself. I even expressed to the chair that this seems to be in favor of the incumbents, because that person is known by the people who are going to be voting for him. But for someone like myself and the other candidates who are brand new, it's going to be an uphill, stretch, and 3 weeks is not going to be enough. So, and then on top of that, I asked to send me some information as to how the board comes to decision for writing their criteria for the selection process. I also expressed my concern that if this is a democratic process, then why is it the board putting all these criteria in place? It should be the voters are the ones to be able to be making the selection as to who they want to run that they feel would best serve the position. So all of that I sent in, and the application, because I did not get the answers that I required as far as one, transparency and trust, the people, and again, I'm standing strong because I've had some experience and I know of the players that are involved. So because of that, I trust that I don't see anything to protect the information that is being submitted, even though the chair kept reassuring me, don't worry about it, it stays with me. Well, that alone, we're a small community and everybody knows everybody. So having one person to say that and not having a governing body or any written bylaws or procedures, even if not bylaws, policies and procedures in place to ensure that the candidates, when when they submit their information will remain confidential. I filled out the form and I did not, I put NA instead of responding to the questions, yes or no. And in fact, the form, there was no stipulation on there that if you didn't answer yes or no, that it would disqualify you as a candidate. So I filled all that out and I stressed in there when I sent the email why I did what I did. And once the chair received my information, he called me like 3 times that day, and I finally got a chance to speak with him in the evening. And when I spoke to him, we had a long conversation, and he said, okay, I hear you, and your point is well taken. And then the conversation go on, and then he says, well, now that you're an approved candidate, the next step will be, and then start discussing the next step. And then from there, within, 2 hours, 3 hours later, I got an email with complete different information. So from that point on, I realized that, okay, all my fears that I had is coming to play now. And I just continued to just take my concerns up the chain of command and file a formal complaint. And here I am today.
So tell me, the questions that you said that were asked, do you have any idea of what some of them are?
Well, I'm not looking at the form now, but the ones that I had an issue with were asking about an individual's background, and even on the form, and I don't want to say the wrong name, I don't have the form in front of me, the form where someone has to refer you, that person who is referring you, they're also asking, by you referring this person, do you know of this person's background? If this person have any criminal background.
Wow.
Which one, if someone is referring someone, why do that person need to know that person's background? Does that mean that they now need to go run a background check on that person? And if they do they have the legal right to do that? And secondly, the form itself for the candidate to complete also had a string of questions, and that some of those also included about the individual background. So I asked, one of my questions that I did ask is, why do you need to know a person's background history like that to determine if they are qualified for the position or not? Shouldn't it be based on the work that they do and can do? And secondly, if you're going to be doing that, what legal terms do you have, and what do you have in place to protect those individuals' funds? Well, the response for that was, well, don't worry about it. It stays with me, and I will have conversations with the candidate that no negative campaigning and there shouldn't be no negativity and so forth. So because of all of that, I was not confident in that, and I put NA because I did not feel that those were applicable to a candidate running for the position as a diaspora advisory board. And with that, the chair agreed. He first agreed because he understands that there is no process.
So you're saying that
and then changed.
are you saying that the chair first told you that you are approved to be a candidate?
Yes, that's
and then you got another. What you said? You got another communication that says otherwise.
Within 3 hours later, I got a written communication from the chair stating that the form is incomplete.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so therefore, all right. If they think, why is the form incomplete? Is it because you put not applicable on the
Yes.
form? Did the form say that if you don't fill this out, you will be declined?
No, that's what I'm saying, and
She
that's
said
the
it didn't.
conversation,
It didn't say.
and that's why when we spoke, he agreed with me and said, okay, and that's why we went on to say, okay, now that you're an approved candidate, because the form did not state that.
And then, all right. So, do you think that writing not applicable was an answer then? I mean, you could answer yes or no, or maybe so, right? So you could put maybe so, and you're actually answering the question.
Listen, if the form had said not answering yes or no to this would
Right.
disqualify you, I wouldn't even be on your program right now.
Okay.
I hear you.
because the form clearly states what is an exact, what is expected.
Okay, what's the eligibility requirements are, and it has nothing to do
Right.
with whether you say yes or no to that.
Yes.
Okay.
And what are the next steps now? Where are you now with this?
Well, I'm fine. I'm fine with where I am right now. I've made it clear because after the information came out and my name wasn't on there, I cannot begin to tell you the influx of concerns and questions that I've been getting through social media on my inbox, as well as text messages and phone calls. And I even look at it this way. I said, when I first post on social media that I was asked to run, before I even made the decision to do so, and I asked for the support, I was surprised with over 100 and I want to say maybe 120 or 130 people responded and comment, yes, you got my vote, yes, you got my vote. And that was just through one social media post. The last election, I believe it was the 2014 election, that election, I believe, the incumbent won by 900 and something vote, and the person who came second to him got 200 and something votes. And I said to myself, you know what? If in one post I got over 100 and something support,
you had a shot. You had a chance.
And I wasn't even campaigning. I just made one post.
Yes. Yes.
And if I got that much response in one post, imagine if I had campaigned. And that in itself speaks to the fact that the voters, the public, are the ones who should be given the opportunity to make this decision, because those people who responded, they saw the work that I've been doing over since 2009 between here and Jamaica through the Alumni Association, where $2,000 is given to these schools as their cash prize, and rather than these schools, alumni schools, taking the funds for themselves, they donate it back to their schools in Jamaica. Not only that, they see the work that I do by partnering with Eat for Life, the only organization that serves young girls who are sexually abused. Some of these girls get pregnant and contract STDs such as HIV from their abusers. The amount of support that I've gotten for that organization, as far as from awareness and funding to be able to help them in their administrative costs, the work that I've done with the Reggae Girls in getting the awareness out for them, and then getting Sabella Marley to them come on board as the ambassador to provide the much needed funds that program needs. Those people, the work they saw is that. They weren't looking at anything else. They weren't seeing all the scrutiny that which I don't know if it's a committee or I'm not sure what it is, put in place. And these are the people who should be given the opportunity, if it's a democratic process, to be able to vote who they feel is best for that position.
Oh, so you also have a contention as to the fact that the process should not eliminate you right off the bat by a particular committee, right? You're saying that should be open up to the public.
It's a democratic process.
Yeah, it should be open up to the public.
Yes, it should be up to the public to vote who they want in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If that is the case, then make it an appointed position to where you and your colleagues and teams can sit down and figure out who you want to appoint. But don't make it a voting process. Right,
because I did see one of the forms, as you mentioned earlier, ask the form that is selected as the nominator form, the person to nominate, ask if you know this person to have criminal record or what you may call it, a judgment, that kind of stuff. And I'm wondering, how would the nominator know of this person? Because you could just look at someone in the community,
like she's saying, based on the work she does.
Yes.
Somebody in the community. I myself probably be one of those persons looking at somebody and thinking, I think this person would be that energy, that drive, that understanding of what it takes to bring in. Yes. person would be ideal for this situation, and I would go ahead and nominate them. How would I know? I don't know anything about this
I would
person's
know.
background.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
It means that I have to go down to the county records office and say, okay, let me check on this person here to see whether or not they're having a record before we nominate them, right? That's not how it goes. That's not how the democratic system works,
That's
right?
not it work. But you know,
Right.
and though I understand that to some extent you want a person in a position who has credibility, and but there are different ways
Yes.
of assessing that.
Actually,
and
yes.
yeah,
The,
there
the, the system, the democratic
The
system,
democratic
would,
system.
would eliminate that person. altogether.
Exact.
See, like we saw the debate the other night. I mean, a person who has record is probably likely not going to put themselves into that situation anyway, right? And if they do, it probably will come out. You know what I mean? So, and because someone will ask them a question.
And that's the point that I'm making. Anybody can go and check within the legal system, can go and check,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So if anything, it's not like, okay, I don't want people to know what my background is, because once I get in, people are going to know anyway, because they are going to check.
They are going to check. Right.
I'm not
Right.
disputing that. I am
Yes.
disputing the fact that you are putting barriers in place. You
Right.
said that this is an election. It's a democratic process. Do not put barriers in place to eliminate. Because
People,
then
yeah.
now, I am thinking that you're putting these in place to pad it for people that you want in, and not who the general public wants in.
Okay.
And
I
then
actually.
on top of that, you have no policies, you have no bylaws, you have no governance, because until now, I don't know who governed this board.
Okay. Just 1 second. Let me see. Still Joshua. Please, I was not checking the chat room. Could you tell me for sure that you're not hearing? Please just go ahead and tell me yay or nay. Okay, there was a gentleman, his name is Joshua Spencer, who says that he was not
seeing
hearing.
but not hearing.
He's seeing but not hearing. Not so sure that it still is correct. Let's see. Oh, there are people out there. Commenting. Okay. Pin, green.
Watching from Connecticut.
Watching. There you go. Carmen Palmer. Can you read those? Do you have your glasses on? No, you don't. Okay. Thank you, Carmen.
Carmen says you can hardly hear.
She can hardly hear. Winnie?
Everybody's asking. Cherry says volume.
Oh.
Jamaicans.com said not hearing.
Oh, not hearing. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And we've gone through all of that.
And we've gone through so much of this. Oh my. Let me see. You know what? Let me check here on. I'm checking here to see if
Technology has not been kind to us today. I'm not
telling
sure
you,
what it is.
It's been
but,
just one of those crazy things. Just one of those crazy things. Here we go. Maybe they can hear us now. I really hope that they can
Can I see
hear us.
some raising of hands here? Some high
Just say present
fives.
teacher. Just say present teacher.
Can you hear us?
Present teacher. Just say present teacher. Present teacher. Anybody can
No
say.
response.
Yeah. Let's see. And I have this thing turned up. I have. There's someone. What did they say?
This person is, and I think she had sent it already, wanting to talk, because she wants to talk about a different topic area.
Show people in country. We'll get to that. But can you hear us? The question is, can
The
you
question is, can you hear us? Can you help us?
Jamaica blessing.
Not here. Donna Bowes Green, not hearing.
She says not hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Not someone is, let me call, Laverne, we'll just link you back later on. I'll be here for a while because it seemed like we're having a little issue hearing you. So just give me a few minutes and I'll call you back, okay? Thank you, my dear. All right. It's strange that we're here talking and we're not hearing ourselves. We're not hearing anything. So let's see.
Can you give them some music in the meantime or something? No?
All right, so let's see. I want to, I intentionally didn't want to put the music on today because we really wanted to record it on Jamaicans.com. And so,
Okay,
yeah,
I
wanted
forgot.
to record it. So
I could sing.
You
You
wanna
don't
sing?
need, you
Yes,
don't
please.
need, you don't
In
need,
the meantime, yes.
down the way where the lights
Oh,
are
yes.
gay and the sun shines gaily on the mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica,
It's so
I
beautiful.
made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Oh my God. No, I did not even do singing 101, guys.
So sing again.
So-
Come to sing, man. I don't want to.
I don't want to run everybody off the computer.
We're not hearing, we're definitely not hearing on the, and let me check the screen here. I'm so sorry. Let's see, sound and recording. We've been having a lot of issue, but it says that you're coming through though. It does say that we're going through. Let's see. It does say that we're going through.
Me coffee, me
Go on, sing,
coffee,
go on, sing.
me
Go on. Okay, so
coffee,
we're up
me
now. We're
coffee,
up now.
me mug a boiling coffee in the morning. I cares for nothing else.
Ooh.
The only thing for me is me cup of boiling coffee in the morning.
I'm going to call a friend of mine to see if she can hear us quite clearly. And so that's, just keep checking the internet to see if we can hear. In the meantime, we are streaming live. Just one of those things in the morning, oh my gosh.
All right, those of you that are seen are here. Just tell us, what's the weather like in your region? Those of you shouting out from Connecticut, what's the weather like there? How's the day going?
Right there? Oh, okay, all right. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we're good on Smashcast. We're very good. We're loud and clear.
Is it that they couldn't hear the interviewer?
Don't know what they could hear or could not hear. I don't know at all. But I'm told that Smashcast is very. Also, we have a lot of love.
Yeah,
on
love's
Smashcast,
coming,
you know,
sure.
a lot of love. All right, so all right.
But based on what she said,
I had seen the forms, right? I looked
Okay.
at the forms, and I did ask some questions because it was kind of disturbing a little bit to me in the sense that I felt that there's a barrier right up front, that there's a committee that's making a decision to weed out persons, right? And I did contact the committee chair, and I asked him. He did tell me that whether or not those questions are answered, that the person would still be alive. That was a discussion
really?
between him and yes. That was a discussion.
and then he had told her she was official. So what I'm hearing from both you and her is that apparently he had been making some decisions on his own.
Well, I can't say
and
that.
then-
I can't say that. What I prefer to say.
And then
in
they've
this case-
changed.
What I prefer to say in this case, there's obviously a huge need for a system, a proper
system.
election system.
Transparent.
Well, yes, that will allow everybody an opportunity, and the guidelines must be that clear that there no one who's going to make any kind of judgment on their own or in a committee to because this is a diaspora. Everybody has the ability to do whatever it is they choose to do in terms of running for office.
For me, above all, regardless of what questions are asked, regardless of what the process is, my thing, and of course I was in this position, 4 years ago, is uniformity.
Yes.
We have 3 diaspora members in the USA, the Northeast, the Southeast, and the Midwest. All the roles are the same. The expectations are clear. Why should it be different? That has been my concern, and that is why I'm asking.
Yes.
So, if the USA say we're going to ask those questions, and that's what it is, then so be it. And everybody asks. But when the Midwest is asking something, the Southeast is asking something, and for the same position, something is not right.
The thing about it, I must tell you this though, that 6 years ago, what's his name again? Wayland in the Midwest used online voting and asked just a certain amount of questions, right? When I ran election, because I was that board member after he left office, I used purely online questions. You ask, these are the questions you ask. Are you over 18? Are you Jamaican? Give me your telephone number, your email address, which city you live in, which state you live in, so that we can, if I have to go back and check, I can always go back. And I did. Because after the election, there were some inconsistencies with someone's email address and telephone number, which state they are. And I called them up and said, hey, are you eligible to vote? And they said, no. And I just deleted that. So there's a way. You are never going to be 100% on anything.
But you're going to try to get it as
close as possible and easy as possible. And I don't believe that I don't believe that the system that we have right now in this segment is a system that has the kind of transparency that it needs to have a global look, that everybody gets a chance. Mind you, one of the discussions that you will hear, one of the arguments that you will hear, this was used in 2014. But because it was used in 2014 doesn't mean that it's correct.
And because nothing has ever been in place, whatever was done in 2014 was just put together just to get somebody in there, because you had an interim person, so you push something together to get somebody in there. So we need to open it up and get something concrete, that we don't have this come the next election and the election after that. We have something that has been decided by the people, and it's uniformed. And it's 100% transparent, and it's out there, and so we don't have this, because if this is not addressed now, I can see that in another 2 years, when we need to open up the elections, like for elections again, we're probably going to end up having the same kind of issue.
Yes,
and as a people, we need to be growing. We can't keep staying in the one place and just keep having these fractions, and especially something like this, like I said, that needs to be open to the community, needs to be transparent. People have a say, and have a real, true democratic process.
And I hope that he's available, because we were supposed to have some
this
morning, but our computer, the internet, there was an internet outage in the area, and we could not come online at all. So, but my first guest this morning should have been Oliver Falloon Reid, right? It's Falloon Reid, and so I'm going to try to get Oliver online, and I hope that he's still there, because we want to hear about Oliver, and because he's running down here. And let me preface something here. You will find that Oliver Falloon Reid is the only one that's on the show today, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's anything that's any conspiracy here. It means that we sent out an invitation to everybody right? And some persons declined, and some persons did not respond, right? And so that's the reason why you will only hear Reid today talking about his candidacy. And so let's see if we can get Oliver on the phone, right? Oliver?
You're live.
Oliver, at large. Is this Oliver at large?
Hello.
Is this
I think you have it right.
Hi,
Dr.
Oliver.
My darling, greetings.
Greetings.
and then we have the
Oh, well, let me say a pleasant good Saturday to everybody who's hearing me. You haven't got me online yet, though.
Oliver.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on your putting your foot forward to go for this position, and good luck in your process. But what made you decide to put yourself out there to go for this? Talk to me.
Well, I have a passion for the potential of the rich dynamics of our community here to play a more significant role, not only in how we develop the community here in our host country, here in our community, and I'm thinking more about the Southeast, right down here in South Florida and the wider reaches, but the potential and the capacity to have a greater impact if we come together a little more. You hear so often that we're not together and we're not coming together and we're fragmented, and in some regards we are. And from working in the community for the last 10 years, I have certainly seen where if we could just put the sum of our parts together, it would be far greater impact can be achieved on various fronts. Mm-hmm. Healthcare, or contribution to education, or impact on the things that we have as task focus areas right now in the diaspora. Just the various things that we all feel so committed to do as Jamaicans, if we just collaborate a little more.
Yes.
Just collaborate. We could do far more. So that's one of the things why I kind of decided I may have a little something to lend to the process.
I heard that very clearly, Oliver, and I'm going to get to who you are a little bit, but since you brought up some of those topics, look at what has happened in the past 4 years, 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever it is, and what will happen if Oliver Falloon Reid gets into office. What is the difference that you are going to make?
Well, let me just talk about I prefer you comment on the landline.
Okay, can I get the landline number? Go ahead and give me the landline number. I'm so sorry.
Yes. 374-954-3.
I can hardly hear.
Tell him to text
Yeah.
you.
That's Oliver Falloon Reid, and let me make something clear here, ladies and gentlemen, because someone asked me to. In the South, the only person who has accepted the
invitation. There are three
other persons,
candidates.
Wayne Golding, who has declined, and who else?
Duke of Earl, who
Duke
is
of Earl. I don't know
Earl.
Birch.
Oh gosh.
Whatever. I mean, but the thing is, I'm so he hasn't accepted. He didn't respond to me. Someone is asking me. Here's Oliver calling me on this line. All right. Or did not accept. All right. So we have Oliver again back online, and Oliver is the only person who accepted the invitation to come on the show today. And I asked Oliver, what is it that he will create that will make a difference, different from all the other candidates or all the other diaspora advisory board members who have sat before him?
And so. But when you look on our side, we still seem not to have a focus, a body, a structure, and a system that people can plug into, and they can be easily brought onto the ramp as we progress and grow as a diaspora. I would like to see a little more structure where that's concerned. I would like to see a little more permanent body, as it were, not in terms of the chairs now, because that must change, but in terms of administration of the work of the diaspora here. I'd love to see a system where we have begun to organize ourselves around registration of members. Just to think of the election right now, it's unwieldy. People are voting yes, but how much more serious would it be if we had, of the 1.7 million people, as we estimate in the USA, who are participating? We know the 2080 rule. But what if we knew we had 500,000 people who are interested in this, are committed to this, and that they are now deciding, you know what, I want to play a greater role, I want to see so and so and so take this mission forward, and I'm investing in it in a more serious way. Those are things I would love to see, and they're not new. I'm not bringing unique and new ideas here. These are things we've talked about over the last few years, but if we just simply talk and move on, then progress is not realized. And so I'd like us to kind of do more like a reset in terms of those issues, and to also look at the critical things that makes us succeed as a movement, because that's what we are. And so we can join and partner with the Jamaican government on a more equal footing in terms of our structure and our system, and then play a more dynamic role in establishing and moving the agenda forward.
You mentioned you have a question for me? You mentioned the task forces. What do you think about the emergence of task forces? Have you been following the various ones there? There's education, there's crime and intervention, agriculture, technology, and several other local campaign, task force, and so forth. What do you think about that type of, because whether we want to say that or not, it's somewhat of a structure that, how do you put that into your perspective?
It's a tremendous system, if you wish, for me. I mean, I like structure. And the first thing to recognize is that as a diaspora, we have a cross-section, a large cross-section of interest from various When you talk to someone in the street, as I've been doing this week, you hear about different things that they're interested in, but we can't be all things to all men. One, time is limited, resources are limited, volunteers are limited, and so forth. But we can pick out the broad and solid and measurable areas that we can look at that impact the society in meaningful ways. And say, listen, if we begin to work on education, if we start to work on crime, definitely on health, social services, agriculture, for example. Well, technology forms part of all of that, so that could be a backdrop. But if we start in these areas, we could begin to then set up structures that then penetrate the softer areas and the more fragmented areas and still move this ball down the pitch in recognizable ways. So these are areas that people can identify as solid interest areas, as meaningful areas of social development and national development. And as we begin to also interject and play a role in the Vision 2030, here we are now putting in these planks, these pillars within our society and strengthening them through these various task forces. And we've got to be careful that we don't have 100 task forces. So we have these headings, crime. What comes under crime? A lot of it could be, training and development, leadership, social, community development, perhaps. So we have a broad heading that we can build under. I think of the diaspora movement as a large tent under which you can then set up other tents. And that's why I'm saying I would love to see, for example, corporate registrations, all the nonprofits in the particular regions become members of the mission, of the movement. So, for example, the one I've been involved in for 10 years, Jura. Jura should be a corporate member of the diaspora movement. Mm-hmm. Pay a due. Be involved. One, it creates an avenue to reach us more readily. So you're not having to find 100 people to disseminate information. You send it to Jura's secretary, then it then goes out to everybody else. And so you're actually consolidating the body politic, as it were, and being able to now rely on more people who you can call on to address a cause, call on to respond to something, and actually then being in a position to mobilize, people towards what we're doing in terms of bringing this thing to the next level. So that would be one thing I'd look at.
Okay. I know you've been involved with the community for some time. And listening to what you would like to see happen is not something that's foreign because, of course, under my administration, you were one of those persons, Jura, that was very involved with helping to try to get us to kind of getting some procedures and stuff in place. Having said that just hit me. Oh my God, I'm having a senior moment.
What is it that you, I can help her, what is it that you qualify, what would qualify you to
take it to that
next level? To the next level, yes.
That's a very good question, and it requires me to some degree, maybe, blow a trumpet.
That's okay, that's why you're here.
I don't want to do that.
No, man,
but
okay.
I think, though, that my leadership skills, one, my experience with working with the community, my relationships, my willingness to sacrifice, my desire to see this thing go forward are going to be very good, resource areas on which to draw to make this happen. I believe that I would be able to bring together and gain the support of the community and the leaders in the community to do this, based on my experiences over the years and working with many of the stakeholders within our community. But also, I'm willing to draw on and call in the troops, as it were. Someone like, say, for example, people who have served in the past, they have a role to play. If we open as I said, a lot of people, as I talk with them over the last few weeks, are saying, it sounds good, but I know nothing about the diaspora. Now, it's not because the information is not knows, Leo. You have been preaching this for years, and you have been an example of what it means to be engaged and to sacrifice. But for whatever reason, not enough people know. And therefore, we have left a lot on the table in terms of resources, commitments, potential commitments, and all of that. Yes. So I'm willing to kind of reset and to draw on the skills within our community to say, let's work together if we can collaborate. So it's not a one-man thing, but I'm willing to call in leadership, call in experience, and say, let us get back. I know for a fact that Dr. Sue had been laying some groundwork in terms of, bylaws and structure and how we could do. I'm not sure much has happened since she did make it office. I would like us to look again on those requirements that are necessary to have, a body here that can represent us sufficiently and connect with our counterparts in Jamaica in a real way to continue to pull in the same direction at the same force.
Okay. Oliver, again, I know for a fact that you as a community individual have invested in attending the Diaspora Conference over the past several years.
Yes.
And I wanted to know from you, how do you feel about the conference? And is it worth the investment? How has it been for you?
It was an eye-opener for me to see the level of commitment that went into setting it up biennially, and the amount of stakeholders who participate in it tells me that there is something good to come out of it. I have also seen the 2013 and the 2015 and even the previous one, the great ideas. I've gone back to reading Delano Franklin's book and to see what they were saying then. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, a lot of the things that we talked about back in 2004 are still unfinished, ongoing, unrealized. Mm-hmm. So what it does is that it really throws a lot of resources, a lot of information, a lot of cause to take on. But it requires now to be distilled into workshops, into task forces, into actionable components so they can be realized. So I like the fact that we do it every 2 years, but I think more has to be done in between. Mm-hmm. And preferably on this side of the lake, here, within our communities, that will engage the average person in the street who wants to be part of this. And then again, when we meet again, now we not just talk about what we'd like to see done, but talk about what we have done, what impact they've made, and in such a way that they can be measured, managed, quantified, So yes, they're important. Yes, I support them, but I'd like to see more of the underpinnings after they've happened of the work being carried out on the ground with the people who are in the diaspora playing their roles in ways that can then materialize what we'll aspire to at these conferences.
Having said that, I just want to mention to you that you're concerned about the work that's done after the conference, within that 2 years. It's not a long time, but I think we kind of found the recipe for going forward, that which is how the task force came about in the past 3 to 4 years.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
One of the complaints had been that nothing was being done in between the conference. It's just that it is not a lot of time. So the fact that now we've realized that formulating these task force and concentrating on individual areas and having things done, then the task force, when we go back to conference, is able to now report on what have been done, what had been realized in those 2 years coming up. So we hope to build on that as well. So that's one way going forward.
Certainly, I applaud that. The other area, though, is funding. We cannot do this in a straitjacket where we don't feel we can establish and create ways of funding the movement here and setting up resources to do big things. Having more of a seamless interaction between the other diaspora areas. So that when you get on, it's a single face that you're seeing, not that everybody who comes along starts a whole new website, starts a whole new motto, starts a whole new mantra, but something that is sustainable and that we can all plug into and actually move it forward. That is my aspiration, for sure.
I have a big question for you. Do you have a slogan?
Well, I thought about one.
If you had to,
it's not making Jamaica great again, though, you know. No, what keeps coming to mind is uniting for progress. Uniting for progress.
Okay. I actually like that. I like that. Because I was going to ask you what it means, but it's self-explanatory.
Yep. Unity, strength.
So, one of the things that a lot of us misunderstand about diaspora movement is that when we take on this job, we think that we're going to change the world. The 3 million Jamaicans. We're going to change.
I know.
and we can. I will make that big difference in changing the world, right? 3 million Jamaicans.
Not realistic for sure. Not realistic for sure.
No, all right. So how can I say to myself? I think that Oliver is going to be that guy, right? That's going to unite all the regions and all the diaspora. What do you plan to do first? What do you plan to do second? That kind of thing. Do you have a plan like that?
Yes.
Okay.
And it has to be a work in progress because you can stand outside the house and assume that you can do all kinds of things once you go through the door.
Yes.
But you get inside and realize that the rooms are structured quite differently,
yes,
and that there are stairs to climb and different things to deal with. But I would certainly like to, and it's stopping you again, but to have dialogue with the players, starting with the main players in the diaspora in our local region here in the Southeast, and create a template, a functional template, as to what are we doing here. Let's kind of forget about the task force just for a moment.
Right.
What, for example, let me use Jura. What is Jura doing in this area? And I'll say to you, well, we work with education, we work with health, we work with social services, and we do scholarships. And you can say to me, all right, fine. How can you play a role then in the education task force?
Right.
And we talk about the Jamaican Nurse Association.
Right.
Where do they fall under these headings? So we start to categorize,
Okay.
and we start to getting people involved in the greater movement, not stopping what they do, but putting them in positions where they can play a more significant role in the overall agenda. We need to be able to quantify the work we're doing. I mean, when we go down from here on a mission trip, nobody seems to know. And there's this thing, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, does it make a sound? And that question is continues to be moved. I mean, we just came up from a mission trip, which involved the Cornwall Regional Hospital. We brought down an incubator. We did some stuff in Trenchtown. Now, that falls under a number of the things that the diaspora should take credit for.
Yes.
But there has been no real way, and we take responsibility for that, no doubt, but there has been no easy way for us to plug in to say, and register our activities so they can be quantified, they can be measured. We can take counsel as to say, well, you're duplicating something here. Why don't you do it this way? I would like to, first of all, call organizations together and say, let us bond in our particular areas of interest. Let us begin to pool some resources. Let us not duplicate. And to begin a forum here that establishes a structure, then hopefully get the wider community begin to register with us. And we can begin to get some economies of scale and begin to create a formula that works not just for us, but for other areas. And indeed one that can stand up and represent us better as we interact with the home country.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to the Diaspora Advisory Board member candidate for election in Southeast Region, Mr. Oliver Falloon Reid. I think Sue was kind of rude in not asking Oliver Reid where he come from and all that thing there. She just jumped right into the thing. Nobody knows who Oliver is. So tell us, Oliver, who you are. Who is Oliver? Where you come from? Which country you go during the summer? Who you go with your grandmother?
I did grow up with my grandmother, though. I hail from the wonderful parish of Portland. And
the
in
best
the far
parish in
reach,
Jamaica.
the far reaches of Buff Bay, I had the pleasure of going to Buff Bay Primary, later on graduating from Titchfield High School, again, one of the most prestigious high schools on the island, I dare say. And I went off to England to join relatives. I believe when you start to give trouble at a certain age, they ship you out, and I might have been one of those.
You give trouble? Oliver, you give trouble? No, man, I can't stand.
But when I got there, I straightened up and I went back to college, even without the control of parents at the time. I was just staying with relatives. But I decided, something is a great opportunity. I've always wanted to do law. I was inspired by Norman Manley and from the readings and coming through school, and I actually enrolled in law school and did my LLB and got my law degree from the University of London. And then as a result of social interactions, I ended up here. At the same time as well with Dr. Sue, we actually migrated from London about the same time, I think 3 months apart.
Oh, you remember?
So she knows me well. She knows she can speak for me. I'm a good boy. And then once I got here, I decided, maybe real estate is the way I wanted to go. And so I got into mortgages and had my own company up until the crash. I still work in the financial industry. I am a mortgage banker with PRNG, and I've been working in the community in various ways, most notably with Jamaica United Relief Association and my alumni Titchfield Past Student Association here in Florida, and I'm now the president of the Titchfield Past Student Sports Association in New York. So I've always been out there just doing things, keeping out of trouble, and hoping to find something that I can get my teeth into and direct my passions into. And of course, I have thoughts of moving back to Jamaica eventually, but we'll see how that goes. But suffice to say, I want to play a role. I believe I can. And I believe with the stalwarts in the community like yourself, Leo, and certainly Dr. Sue and the great many other key players, we can do more. We can raise the bar, and we can deliver a lot more to the diaspora given the opportunity, and certainly if we collaborate.
All right, so we'll close with that one. I wanted to, you sound like you were closing a while ago, but I wanted to ask one more. Just one more question. You can use that.
I'm at your disposal.
Oh, yeah. All right, just tell us, because you sound like someone who wants to unite the diaspora in a big way. Tell the diaspora, because they're listening to you, what is it that you would tell them right now to come together? How would you want them to? What modality? And tell them, say something to them and take a minute to do that.
Well, The area that we're dealing with when we talk about the Southeast, as you know, is 13 states. Vast, unwieldy. I think the best way to do things is always to start small and incrementally grow this thing and to get it going. My initial thing to say, we all are invested. So I think we're unique as Jamaicans in our commitment and our passion and our unwavering support for home country. We tend to be a group, though, that can be fractious. We tend to find why things don't work and all of that. I'd like us to, for one moment, just say, listen, let's take a breather and let's see how we can play a greater role together. And answer the call of duty when we say, listen, get on this with us, join forces, register, be a part of this, give not just your support, but your resources to this. In fact, we're going to be calling on you to play your part in various ways. Be ready to do so. And certainly we need to create a structure for them to get on and involved and do what needs to be done. I don't want to say I'll set down the markers because I think that should be left to greater consultation if and when this, if it were to happen for me that I were to be elected. Mm-hmm. But, and that there are frameworks already in place that which simply don't have to make the wheel all over again. But certainly, I believe together, if we begin to educate ourselves more about what make diasporas work, we have a number of examples. We always point to the Israelis and some of the African diasporas, the Indian diaspora, and so forth. We might be unique, but there are things to take away from all of them if we just avail ourselves to those experiences and those particular things best practices, if you wish, that work for them. We too can come together and have a dynamic and impacting movement that can move this whole Vision 2030 National Development Plan for the benefit of Jamaicans at home and Jamaicans abroad. The place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business, that's the vision for 2030, and we're not too far away. I think if we unite and work hard, we can accomplish that vision for generations to come.
And with that, we would make Jamaica great again.
Absolutely.
Oliver, thank you very much for agreeing to come on today and interviewing with us and having the listeners hear your heart and hear what you're about and your plans for the community. We wish you all the best in the election process.
We hope you win. And please go out and vote, everybody. You know who one of the candidates are from this show.
From this region.
Yeah, from this region. And
thank you so much, Dr. Seuss. Thank you so much, Leo. And look forward to working with you because you guys really have done so much for the community. Thank you so much.
Okay, dear. Thank you.
Have
a wonderful day.
Thanks. You too. Enjoy the long weekend.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Oliver Falloon
Reed.
What a nice name.
Yes.
But he said he was a bad boy.
Well, I never knew him then. I met him as a reform in London.
He was already reformed.
He was already reformed.
It was good to hear that he's well spoken, and I good to hear that he's from the country.
Oh yes.
Portland. Like the country people, you know?
That's where my mom's from. The best parish.
Everybody who comes on this show and say they're from a particular parish.
You say my mother comes
from there. You say your mother comes from there.
You are so lying.
Oh my God.
You are so lying.
If you say your mother comes from England, she mother comes from England. If your mother comes from Manchester, she mother comes from Manchester.
You're just grudgeful and bad-minded because me can claim somebody that every parish. Yeah, that's why. Mommy come from Portland,
Oh my
daddy
gosh.
come from St. Me go to school at Manchester, me go to school
Yeah,
at St.
yeah,
Thomas.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh
you
my-
name it.
Oh my
My
God.
sister go to school at Kingston. I mean, I have first-hand relationship with almost every parish at Jamaica.
All right. So the next person up, I'm gonna give her a call. She's from the Northeast. Her name is Carlene. I think you know Carlene Lardy.
Wow, yeah, man.
Come on, no, go on like. You know, say Carlene run for the thing.
Yes, I said, you said you think I know her, and I said, yeah, man.
We
What you
also
talking
have.
about?
We also have.
So we have Akilia, you know, too?
And then
Yes.
there's a gentleman by the name of Ron Ingleton, who's running for the office. But we're gonna call Carlene the first person to, on the air. So bear with us for a minute. As hey, listen, tonight Sue is gonna be at
Tonight, we're going to Yada Broad.
Yada Broad.
Yada Broad Art Gallery in Sunrise.
Yes.
And it's Culture Corner with Dr. Sue and friends. And guess what? Tonight, we're going to be celebrating Haitian Flag Day, or Haitian Heritage Month. So it's, I can feel the vibe already. No, not with jerk chicken. We are going to have with griot, with akra, we are going to have with pickles.
Hold on. But that sounds like a Asian food. Griot, what is griot?
We are celebrating Haitian heritage. So I
Oh,
would.
tonight is Asian heritage?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay. So tell me the name of the food again.
Accra,
Accra.
griot,
Griot. I bet you can't do one name Accra.
pickles.
One name Accra. One make Accra.
Accra is like with Jamaican fritters, but them can put different things in it. But I like
Just
when them
because
use.
you-
I like
just
when them
because
use the
you
red
don't know
herring.
what it is, you can't make it up. You can't
I
make it
like
up.
I like when them use the red herring in there, but sometimes it's not red herring them use. Sometimes them just use the ordinary fish or something. But it's like with Jamaica fritters. It's nice fritters. Yes.
Thank you. Good evening. Good afternoon, Sue.
Good.
We have a friend of ours who's running for the Northeast Diaspora Advisory.
Auntie Carlene,
I think,
are you there?
I think that the Jamaica Teachers Association likes to call him Miss Largy. So give her a props, man.
Auntie Carlene, are you hearing me?
Carlene.
Yes, I'm here, and I don't know who I'm speaking to. Is that Diane?
Peace and peace.
After me go call her auntie, you know.
Yeah.
After me call her auntie, she go ask me, this is Dr. Sue. Hi,
Dr. Sue is online.
hi, Miss Largy.
Oh, well, it must be Dr. Sue. I don't know.
Good day, Carlene. This is Leo Gillings speaking with you, and we have Dr. Sue in the house, and we're going to be conducting one small little bit of interview today.
Okay, no problem.
So since you don't know who I am, I don't know who you are either. So could you tell us who you are, please?
Sure, Carlene Lardy, born in Kingston on January 10th, the oldest of four.
Oh, that's why we like you. That's why we like you, a Capricorn girl.
Yes.
Oh, that don't mean so never vote for you.
And what is your claim to fame?
Hey, you know, if that's the way you feel, you know, I'm sorry for the dance.
A joke. Talk
Hey,
to us, my
Dr.
dear.
Sue. Hey, Dr. Sue.
Yes, dear.
I know you are who you are, and you know who I am.
Yes.
All right, great. Hey, Carly, I've worked very closely with you over the past couple of years. I'm so happy to hear that you're running for the office of the Diaspora Advisory Board member for Northeast region. I also am aware that Akilia Lawrence Maitland is also running there, and then Mr. Ron Ingleton. Just wanted to get some little background about you. First of all, let me ask a very difficult question. What would make Carlene Lardy a great and the best Diaspora Advisory Board member fitted for Northeast?
Okay, that's easy. Okay, I am the eldest of four, born into a family at a time in the culture in Jamaica where placing the family had privilege. And so as the eldest, as the eldest, I had that privilege, and I had to lead. I had responsibility.
Yes.
So of my siblings,
Okay.
I have lived and worked in the Greater New York area for over 40 years,
Oh.
and of those 40 years, 32 of them were spent in corporate America. In that arena, I moved from a proof curve trainee to vice president in cash management operations at Manufacturers Hanover Trust, which was the name of the bank at the time. And some 4 mergers later, I was a vice president running a 24-hour shift of almost 200 employees and contract staff. And my responsibilities including supervising, training, mobilizing, motivating, and evaluating that staff. I then, outside of that financial arena, I was the president of the Immaculate Conception High School Alumni Association for over 12 years, and I'm currently the vice president. I am still also secretary and dance coach of the NAACP New York City AXO program, and that's Academic, Cultural, Technological, Scientific, Olympics of the Mind program. I'm chairman of the board of Broadcast Production. I was the chair and planner of Diaspora Day in 2014. I am the co-chair. I was co-chair of local diaspora conferences in 2010 and 2014, planning those local conferences. They were in Hartford and Boston. I was a panelist speaker on education at the 2011 Diaspora Conference in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. I was the chairman of the 2014 Advisory Board Member Northeast Elections Committee. I was a panelist and speaker at the 2014 and 2016 local conferences. And as you know, Leo and Dr. Sue, I am one of the core members of the Jamaica Diaspora Education Task Force, having been responsible for the planning of our last summit in 2016.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, and you know, although I felt that all this training and all this experience and the leadership skills made me ready to serve the wider diaspora community, there were several of the persons in the community who agreed with me and set out to support me. And so I have that confidence that in one way or the other I will prevail. And this experience will definitely be an enlightening one as I move forward in whatever the outcome is.
You make me tired. You sound like Superwoman, man. But you know, that's exactly...
Our dear friend Durban Malcolm, a nickname with the ubiquitous Cardi Lordy. Actually, he made me have to go to the dictionary to look that
word up, right? Yeah, Durban does that to you. But, you sound like the kind of energy that is well needed for this role. So,
what would make you any different from any other diaspora advisory board member who was sat in that spot before you?
Well, you know, to each his own. The other diaspora advisory board members, they have their platform, and I have watched them perform, supported them, each of them. But I find that at this time we still lack a real structure of the movement within the diaspora. You know, I am looking to have that clarified in order for us to communicate and educate and provide full representation throughout the region. I actually want to see the Northeast become a model for carrying out the mandate of the advisory board member.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Having heard from others in other regions, persons in office and also candidates seeking to be elected, one of the common thread that seems to be talked about in terms of the role of the diaspora advisory board member and the role is that of structure and it not in place. You are somebody that has been in the community for some time, and I'm sure you've probably seen all the advisory board members that have passed through that region to date. What do you think has been the issue of us not getting to that goal of having the structure that is so needed in place and having proper processes and procedures in place as a community member and somebody very involved?
Yes. That is a good question, and the response can be controversial. But I have to say that, particularly here in the Northeast, one of the things we really need to get together, wrap our arms around, is working together, is collaboration, okay, unity. Despite the 300 health missions, despite the education efforts to have summits every other year, and the new task forces coming up, developing. Despite all of that, we all need to work together and support each other. So crime might not be my forte, but that doesn't mean that I cannot. There must be something that I can do, even if it is to share the work that that particular task force is doing. I find that sometimes there's so many of us, particularly in leadership roles, who just because it's not my thing, I don't want anything to do with it, and that's not fair, and that's not displaying leadership. There's one of the things that I have been very anxious about. I spoke to previous advisory board members about this, and none of them really wanted to take it up. And it's so funny because this morning on Durban's show, one of the candidates in the Southeast brought it up. There has to be something that has to be done about assisting the advisory board member with resources. Okay, not for the individual, but for the position, to be able to help to or advise that advisory board member on how to be self-sufficient financially, to have the appropriate resources assigned for them to do what they have to do. Most of us have quite a few states. There are 13 in the Northeast, and in order to get that communication and that togetherness and that unity and that collaboration, you have to go see all of them. You have to speak to the community in those states.
Well, that's a good topic. But let me ask you, based on the current terms of reference, how do you get something like that going, Carly? How do you get resources in the hands of the office? How do you get resources there?
Okay, but when I am declared the winner, I would like to meet with the other.
I like that already.
That's the spirit.
I would like to meet. I'd like to meet with the other advisory board members and their alternates and their future leaders, and see how we can put together a professional, educated proposal to the powers to be. It mightn't happen for us, but it will happen for the future.
Do you have a slogan, Carleen?
Oh yes,
Okay.
Our children, our community, our Jamaica.
Our children,
our community,
our Jamaica. Tell us what that
Yeah,
means. Tell us what that means.
Well, and this is our children, both in Jamaica and in the diaspora. In Jamaica, our little citizens need our biggest help right now because we want them to be like us. Here in the community, so many of our children are first-generation Americans. Okay, they were born here or came here very early in their lives. And we need, there's that saying I keep hearing persons say, you have to know where you come from in order to know where you're going. Mm-hmm. These children need to know this. We need to include them in our celebrations, in our history, in our culture. And so that is where I get our children from. And I will say it right here, although I'm not a biological mother, I think I have more children than a lot of us put together. Because that's my thing, okay? Our community, of course, as a diaspora advisory board member, it's a mandate to foster the community, to grow the community, to educate the community. And all of this is done in the name of our beloved island, Jamaica. Thus, our children, our community, our Jamaica.
That's very, very nice. Thank you very much for that. And then one last question. What do you think of the Diaspora Conference
Oh.
Do you think it's a good thing for us? Because we talk a lot about, you hear Jamaica talk about it's talk shop, wasting money, that kind of thing. What do you think about the Diaspora Conference, and what has it done for you or the diaspora in the past?
I am in favor of the Diaspora Conference. I'll say that right now. Despite all the negative things that have been said and all the weaknesses that exist in the process of putting it together, I am in favor of that. I see it as an opportunity for us to go home and revel in our island, show off what we have contributed here, what our government has to say. If we want any changes, okay, then we need to propose them in a sufficient way. And you can't stay in the diaspora and do that. You need to go there, you need to put up your hand, you need to sit at the table, and you need to express your opinion. Yes, it's expensive, and that is where we need to really do something about it. And again, staying away doesn't help. I'm going to say something that probably get my head chopped off, but in reality, the conference should be held in July. That is when teachers and nurses and other professionals get their time off and are able to travel to Jamaica and take friends and family with them to not only enjoy the conference, but to enjoy the island. And all the developments and changes, okay? And the government and the planners of the conference need to seriously consider what it costs to come to Jamaica. Several of us, there's the airline, there is eating, there is the entertainment that, as we go, we want to go back and see where we were, we want to look up friends. We spend money, okay? And that might be an ulterior motive for the government, and that's okay, because it's like a big national family reunion, and I like that, okay? It's talking about calling it a talk fest. It's up to us to remedy that, to take care of that. You can't just blame. What is it that we are doing to take care of the things that we're not particularly fond of? I'll get to the for the Diaspora Conference, and ever since the first time, I try not to miss it and to take full advantage of it. And right now, to encourage others in the community to attend, be a part of it.
That's a big thing. And on that note, what would you like to leave with your constituents right now? Those in the community that you're looking to...
I say to my community, go on www.callingallJamaicans.org, read about the diaspora, read about the advisory board member position, read about the candidates, okay? Do your homework and make your educated professional decision based on that.
Okay.
And of course...
Thank you very much, Miss Largy.
Thank you, Carleen.
Thank you all.
We wish you all the best. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now go
Thank you.
Go
Talk
out
again.
and campaign.
Go campaign. Go get them votes.
Of course, I'm doing that all morning. Yes. Yes. And anything you can do to support me, I welcome it. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. All right. You have a wonderful day.
Thanks. You too.
Been just such a great afternoon, because our morning was okay, and she had to say she was gone. But I wanted to say thanks for the people who have joined the call so far.
Hand home
from Germany. Great. And Jerome Tracy, good morning to you, Jerome. Laurice Binns.
Carrie Ann again.
Oh my gosh, so many people have joined, and then I have some here. You can continue. Dr. Sue, I have some people here. Akila Lawrence coming up next. It's going to be Akila. Oh, she says she may not be able to. Oh my, I'm so sorry. She says she's driving, she's traveling, and she don't have good quality. Sound coming out. Good morning, Claudette. Good afternoon, Claudette Coleman. Gerlin Grant, Claudette is in California. Gerlin is in the Middle East. Vanessa Butler in the Northeast United States. We have Khalid listening. Michael Campbell. Thank you very much, Michael Campbell. Let's see, we have some other people. Lorraine Tracy. She says, "Morning, Dr. Sue."
Morning, Lorraine.
Kimon, good listening. Nikki says she's listening, Nikki, officer. Keisha says, me can't watch. Me sorry, me can't watch. I don't know why she can't watch. Rupert Francis, we're gonna be interviewing later on. Several Bonnie Gilling, Laverne saying that she's having a symposium coming up later on, and she's asking Dr. Sue to take care of that on air for her.
All right, well, will you pause so I can take care of that on air for her?
Yes.
Well, next week, Saturday, June 3rd, we're having the second part of our Protect the Children initiative. So we're doing a Protect the Children symposium. And it's going to be an interesting event. We're inviting the community to come out, everybody, postdoc, baby, everybody, because it's going to be so rich and informative. We have a very impressive panel of people who are going to be talking about the issue of child sexual abuse prevention. We're going to have people from agencies, we're going to have victims who are going to be talking about their experiences. But one of the things that's really doing it for me is that we've got some young people, children, who are going to be involved in doing some entertainment that is going to bring enrichment to the event. It's from 10 to 1, and this is Saturday, June 3rd, and it's at New Life Church of God in Miramar. And please, come on, bring the family, bring a friend. It's dialogue that we want to open up. We have children. It's so important to us. And this is what we're doing. We want people to know what the resources are in the community that are available to them. We want them to hear from others how they are affected by this atrocity, this scourge. It's not something that just affects our families, whether in Jamaica or here, but it is worldwide and it is community-wide. But we have taken on to champion the cause for Jamaica, working with Eve for Life, which, as Laverne had said earlier on the air, that they're this organization in Jamaica that do advocate for young girls, especially those who are pregnant at an early age and probably dealing with HIV/AIDS. And so they've started this campaign called the Nogode campaign. And we've taken it on here and I've started a task force. And so we do initiatives that will help to bring awareness to the issue of child sexual abuse and try to prevent it, try to give a voice to it. We need to stop sweeping it under the carpet, and we need to start talking about it more. And the more we talk about it, the more people, and just get the older people, the older folks to listen to our children. Not just listen to their voices, but listen to their behaviors, listen to their attitudes. Because a lot of them not just become recluse and withdrawn just so, something usually causes it. And, we just need to be more probing a bit more. So that's what it is. June 3rd, come on out. New Life, Church of God, Miramar, and it's the Protect the Children Symposium. Looking to see you.
All right. And we want to say also good morning, good afternoon to Captain Francis as he's listening. Let me see. Liz Cosmopolitan, good afternoon. She's over there in Kingston, that center girl up to so. Loris Binns Purcell, good afternoon. We have
Clinton Da Costa, hello, big up.
Tyrone Di Costa. I don't know if you pronounce his name. His name is Di Costa. All right. Ashia Gilling, Charles Wood, good afternoon.
Yes, Laverne, our children are the future. Right. Gotta protect them.
I did see Alun Asamba on.
She is.
She's still there. And Jerome,
up in the hills there,
yeah,
Alun.
What place name? Money.
Around there, so up in the hills.
All right, and then we have Valerie Gordon. Thank you. Cardell. Valerie, I'm a cousin,
No, you talk about me, have people. Everybody are your cousin. Is there anybody out there that you're not related to?
Everybody are cousin. Oh, everybody. All right. We have Cardell Salmon Mayer on there. And we've got Susan Lisette Davis on there.
That's Dr. Sue, for those of you who don't know.
And then see, we have Melanie Daly. Good afternoon, Melanie. Yvette Colbert, good day, Commissioner.
Hi,
Yvette
Commissioner.
Colbert. Good afternoon to you. And Desreen Yateman Brown. Good afternoon, Desreen. Mr. Clinton DeCasta again. Karen M. Chung. She's Mrs. Advertisement. She's advertising the village, Caribbean village coming up.
Okay,
soon.
hi, Karen.
Hi. And then we have Colleen Real, is another St. Mary girl. Like
I know your cousin too.
I'm a cousin.
Oh.
I'm a real cousin.
Yes.
And then Daniela Poet. No, it's Daniela, no. Daniela Poet, I'm a singing partner. But I'm a cousin too. Because she has the same name as my cousin. Alright. And then we have Donovan Jones, named Ashi, come from St. Mary, a big man, that's Ashi, 6'5". Lorraine Phillips. Who else is there? We have Carol.
Hey, Carol. Chang.
Hey, good day.
Miss
Vivek Malcolm. You know, Vivek actually works closely with Durban Malcolm, but she never tell me if she and Durban are cousins. They work closely together.
Okay.
So say hi, Vivek.
Hi, Vivek.
Vivek works at Power 106. And who else? We have, she's saying something. I agree that the merger with organizations with common interests, oh, she likes that. Angela Latibaudière, she says, wow, great audio, Leo. Thank you.
Hi, Angela.
Miss Latibaudière. And then Mr. Pottinger, and I sent me a reminder. Ariel Scott Bowen, good afternoon to you. And Charmin Freckleton. Good day, Charmin. Joshua Spencer.
Yes,
good day to you.
boy.
And that's
All right.
Karen.
But you see,
Go
like
ahead.
how we have talked so much about the diaspora position, them and the conference coming up. And one of the things people used to ask me, are they still asking, so what is the diaspora? Who is the diaspora? You know me already. Sometimes the only
Don't be
way...
feisty, don't be feisty.
I'm not being feisty. I'm just saying sometimes the only way we can communicate effectively with our own people is to give it to them in
Right,
somewhat
child.
of a rhythmical way or
Oh.
through projects. So this one did right when...
Okay, no. So let me introduce it.
We don't
Okay,
need you
so-
to introduce
Come
it.
on, man, let me introduce this Cynthia man. What do you do?
He's going to introduce something that he doesn't even know the name.
She is
Only
going to
Leo.
do a poem for you,
Only
ladies
Leo.
and gentlemen. Okay? It's called Diaspora Are We. Am I right?
Diaspora we. All right. So the one I did right when me keep coming to me. And then what is the diaspora? Who is the diaspora? So this one called Diaspora we. Diaspora is nothing new. Diaspora simply refers to you, me and you. My charge is for us to embrace that fact and be proud, say we can go back. Gone are the days when we did colonize England in reverse. These days, we very globalize as we seek for diverse. We are still out of many, one people from one yard. And whether you there home or abroad, reality is things still hard. Well, with that in mind, we need to support one another, see each other as sister and brother. As we mobilize to strengthen with ties, the diaspora is on what we rely. Diaspora is not anything new. In fact, the word is not even English, it's Hebrew. It means any group that have been dispersed outside of them own land. So you see, me and you are diaspora, yes man. We have a lot in common. For Jamaica land we love. Somehow we just sing it, but now we just going to have to live it. Because before God and all mankind, we don't pledge the love and loyalty of we heart. See, it's from way back then we did get we start. So, we all in a this together. Me and you alike. If you never understand before, I hope now you feel bright. Because next time you hear about Jamaican diaspora, me know you now go ask, then I what that for? For now you for now you're gonna know it refer to you and me. Cause after all, diaspora are we. Ay ay ay.
See me do poem that too. I was on the kind of poem.
Diaspora are we, yes man.
Listen, she has a book. She has a few books, two books too, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of them. Please get it online. It's called Ode to Miss Lou. And trust me, she will come to your house and come do it. All right? If you have a birthday party, right? And you say you want a person to show up and come do them things.
I fly anywhere.
Just feel it here.
Okay.
All right, so thank you. We have a couple other people on the line. Let me tell you who they are. Judy
I see
Lee.
Donella Powell.
Yes, Judy Lee Chen Sang, she's there. Joan Pinnock is listening.
Hi, Joan.
Let's see, Rupert Francis Gerlin Grant. She said, a friend of mine asked to be the representative of the diaspora in Kuwait. Of course, just make them contact
Come to
me.
conference and get it on.
You know, we do have there's a JMED. It's called Jamaica Middle Eastern Diaspora. And after I get off the air, I will give you the telephone number of Miss Marsha Clark and John Wayne, and you can contact them directly. They live in, what are they participating in?
Dubai.
Dubai.
They're in Dubai.
Yes, they live in Dubai. And so I'll get you. She's in Kuwait too. This lady's in Kuwait. Good to see you. Rupert Francis says, I'm actually listening, Leo. Good sound. I just heard Carly Largy. Good afternoon, Leo and Dr. Sue and all the other listeners, especially Ambassador Samba and her brother Charles Wood. Respect to you. Okay. All right, so I'm supposed to have this gentleman on the line. I have heard from him, so I will put a call through to him. We can say him, right?
You
Because
can
we're
say
Jamaican.
whatever you want.
Okay, because we are Jamaican, we can do what we can say over
You
what we
see,
say.
not only do we have Jamaicans listening who will understand, but we are also trying to educate the non-Jamaicans.
Oh.
So,
So-
it's
so
okay for
just
you to
drop
say
off-
in.
yeah,
So it's
drop off
okay
the-
for you to say in.
All right, good. Thank you. Are you there? Good morning, Mr. Ron Ingleton. Are you there?
I'm on.
Great, good to hear you. I have Dr. Suzanne Lisette Davis here in studio with me, and we want to welcome you to the show. We have a few questions for you.
Not a problem, Mr. Gillen.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Her name is Dr. Sue.
Hi, Dr. Sue.
Welcome, my friend.
Okay, so I heard them refer to you as Dr. Ron Ingleton. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, but I can call you Ron for now, right?
Anytime.
All right. Great. So, candidate for the Northeast region, USA, we're up in New York and Connecticut and all the 13 states around there. For Diaspora Advisory Board member, the Diaspora Advisory Board member is Dr. Ron Ingleton on air with her, and I think Dr. Sue wants to ask you the first question.
Me want to hear more about Dr. Ingleton. Tell me about you. Where you come from? Who are you?
A born Kingstonian.
Okay. Under the
A
clock,
born
right?
Kingstonian. Man from the east and a man from the west. Very diverse. I started in Rockford and ended up in Wimbledon.
Interesting.
Stopping, by the way, on the Maxi Avenue on Waltham Park Road. To name a few places.
Okay.
So I am very well grounded in Kingston.
You're well rounded up here too?
Believe me, I am so grounded that you could use me instead of using the electric company to ground the electricity.
Good for you. So, you've been in the Northeast for some time?
Yes, I've been here for 35 years, you know.
Okay.
But I've never left out my country, Jamaica, because just using a good example, last year I think I was in Jamaica 18 times.
Whoa. All right.
You know, so Jamaica is home, and I think very strongly of home, and hence that's some of the reasons why. That's one of the main reasons that I feel like I could contribute a lot by marrying the diaspora with Jamaica.
Okay. And having said that, tell us how you would propose to do that going forward.
You see, I think there's a big disconnect between the man in the street and the powers that be in Jamaica. The man in the street to me and the man in the street here in the United States of America. Most of the people you would speak to, they are happy to be Jamaicans. They want to identify themselves as being Jamaicans. But when you ask them, when last did you go home? No, I have not gone home. Why you don't go home? Well, we understand that the crime is this and the crime is that. Why do you not go home and prove for yourself that it is not so? Because they read the cleaner, they read all these other print medias that feed on the negatives. And what we're saying is that I think that if we could, honest communities up here, get together, discuss the issues that we have, and put aside to rest and the fear of going home because of violence. You know, I think we could go a far way. We need. I think I can bring the expertise that we have here in the United States, especially in the Northeast, of individuals who have been in law enforcement and that can help our organization, the police force, and the people in Jamaica to help to bring crime down so that, you know, the fear can go away. I also believe that folks are wondering why we are importing a lot of stuff into Jamaica. Here in the United States, we have so much resources that could help agriculture production in Jamaica that, you know, I feel with my connections, I know a lot of people who are in the agro sector who would want to go home, but again, because of a certain amount of fear. And they figure that they're not going to get the support that they need when they go to Jamaica. And I think I could get those people together to make a loud voice.
So with that said, do you think that there are people here that can, in the diaspora, that can still be effective in helping with the development of Jamaica and still assisting without going home?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we have demonstrated that, you know. And I have to give kudos to my the outgoing representative, Ms. Pino. You know, she has done a wonderful job of trying to harness some of these resources. And, you know, groups like the medical missions that go down on a regular basis to help in the health sector. In education, I know the education task force works very diligently and is working very diligently to assist in basic schools and, you know, and in other areas.
Mm-hmm. My question to you, Mr. Dr. Ingleton, you mentioned crime, and it's a very important thing in our country that we reduce crime based on what you're saying to us, right? But you've been to Jamaica, you said 18 times last year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the argument that I would make is, you know, you've been to Jamaica 18 times, and I went there 11 times last year, right? And
I have competition.
One of the things that I saw when I go to Jamaica is when I go to parties, people are enjoying themselves. When anywhere, uptown, Kingston, downtown, wherever, people are enjoying themselves. They're living their lives down there just as normal as we are. Let me tell you this. I wake up in the morning and turn on my channel 7 and I see all kind of crime taking place right in my neighborhood here. Why is it so unfair for us to look at our community and say it's okay to have crime in our community, but we don't want to go to Jamaica next, you know, because there's crime in Jamaica? I don't understand. Help me.
I think that if the diaspora had the opportunity to sit down and discuss with individuals like the diaspora leadership that they believe would make representation to the powers that be in Jamaica through our liaisons, and they can see actions being taken. It will take away some of that fear. It will take away some of that fear. And never forget that we are a people who believe in each other. And if we can have symposiums from time to time in the different areas, we have 13 states up here in the Northeast. That my intention is, in particular over the first 100 days, to travel to the states and meet with the power brokers. And once I can get to those folks, I will bring them together so that we can have a regular sit down, let's say once every 2 months. That group sits down, make proposals that we throw at our emissaries in Jamaica and see where it goes from there.
What do you think? Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, what do you think of Diaspora Conference? What you feel about Diaspora Conference? Do you think it's a good thing for us to meet and greet?
It's a very good thing. It's a very good thing. I have attended all the Diaspora Conferences so far, and I have met folks that they have their heart and soul ready to support Jamaica. But I get the feeling that they figure that they're not being heard in the right quarters. And if there is the right representation on their behalf, right, a lot more could be thrown at, because there's a lot of resources here in the diaspora. There's a lot of resources. And you really have been to the conferences yourself, and all these different forums, folks pour their heart out, and they pour their heart out because of the love that they have for Jamaica. But at the end of the day, there is no cooperative that you can throw everything into and say, throw it at the mix. And a lot of things that we are, that I am saying, one would believe that is the responsibility of, let's say, the Consul General office. But the Consul General office it's not in the street. They're not in the street. We are in the street. I am in the street. I'm hearing the issues. And I want to be able to take those issues to the power brokers in Jamaica and say, we can help in these areas. And these are suggestions that we want to make from the northern sector, that we could make of great help into Jamaica going forward. And this is not, there's nothing about politics, this is non-political. And, this is one of the things that we need to get across. That this is not a political platform.
Not at
this
all.
Is Jamaicans abroad wanting to be helpful to their homeland.
Okay. Dr. Ingleton, do you have a slogan for your campaign? And if you don't, what could it have been? A slogan.
You're breaking up.
Do you have a slogan for your campaign?
No, I don't. Although I think I should.
Well, if you should, what would it be?
Jamaicans coming together to take action from the Northeast to benefit their homeland, Jamaica.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And so in your mind, explore that a little bit for us.
Like I prepared earlier on, there's plenty of need for Jamaicans to return home after studies, to take back and slow the brain drain. In other words, don't take it out, let's bring it back in.
Okay.
You know, and that has been a major factor of mine for years. A constant drain of, you know, we spend a lot of money on education in Jamaica. In fact, I was distinct opportunity to sit down with the Minister of Education about a month ago, and he really expressed the need to build more schools in Jamaica, because there's a heavy overcrowding situation. And if we can, from this end, help to release funds as a classic example, to build a school, or to do an extension and a building at a school. Mind you, a lot of high schools, associations here in the United States support their alma mater. You know, they send goods there, you know, desk chairs, books, pencils, you know. I'd love to explore the idea even more for folks to provide scholarships. You know, there are many talented kids in Jamaica that if they only had the opportunity to have a pair of good shoes and get a clean set of car keys and pay the bus fare, they would come out to the wonderful people. But because of the lack of that, they don't go to school, they end up with crime, you know, they become guns, you know, I will lose them. I mean, I'm not boasting, but each year I give a scholarship. So
Okay, and we have
I need
many.
the boy.
We have many like you in the community, and as we reach out to the community now, we ask, you're running against two other candidates there in the Northeast. Why should I vote for you, or why should I tell my family up there to vote for you over the other two?
Did you hear that?
I did not hear the question.
Okay,
I don't know.
I'm saying you went into talking about the community, and I'm saying since we segued into the community, you're running against two other candidates there in the Northeast, and what is it that sets you apart from them? Why should I call out to my family and friends in the Northeast and say, vote for Dr. Ingleton above all these? Sell yourself, I'm saying, basically.
I would tell the community, remember, this is the same individual when he was in Jamaica with the National Workers Union, negotiated some of the biggest contracts in bauxite and in tourism. And with that kind of leadership skill, knowledge and know-how, I want to put that to work here on behalf of my community.
Okay.
I want to put that back to work. So I say no more, because my record is stout when it comes to that. Negotiating, getting people together and putting them to work, put it that way.
Thank you, Dr. Ingleton. It's been great talking to you, and I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best.
Let me say thank you for the opportunity to get the word out.
Yeah, man.
And I'm asking the community to get to the website.
It's called
And callingalljamaica.org. And vote for Ron Ingleton.
Yes.
Okay.
Let us get to work.
All righty.
Well, you go get some campaign in before the end of the day, and we wish you all the best and hope that you win.
Thank you, sir. And thank you again, Doctor.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right. Great. Dr. Ron Ingleton.
Michelle, we took heed.
Okay, what did he say? He says he's not hearing us?
No.
Okay. Good to have you on board, Jermaine Deere, Adolph Mitchell, Lindell Douglas. Send me something. Let me advertise the village for you. Vanessa Walker, Ashia Gilling, good morning, good afternoon, I mean to you all. I'm so sorry. I'm so accustomed to being here in the mornings, but we had so much problems this morning. Couldn't get it going because there was an outage in our area for internet outage. Patricia Watson, go ahead.
Hi, Patricia. New Jersey in the house. Whoa, whoa. Okay. At this time, guys, you know what? I'm gonna have to leave you with Leo.
Oh,
he,
no.
he didn't even know this, but I have a program here that's called Culture Corner with Dr. Sue, and it's this evening. And I'm getting you don't need.
Leave no, me nah come.
Guess what, Leo?
Yeah.
Whether you come or not,
The
the program I gonna run. Okay? So I'm gonna have to leave you lovely listeners and viewers because I have to go get ready for Culture Corner with Dr. Sue. And it's for those of you who are in the area and want to come out tonight, it's at Yard Abroad in Sunrise, and we're going to be celebrating, tell them, Haitian heritage. Haitian heritage. So we're going to be having griot.
Griot and Accra.
And pickling.
I have to go and taste what griot is and what Accra is this evening because I've never heard of it.
All right, no matter with it because you're vegetarian.
Jeez,
So it won't help you.
All right. So
All
you're
right.
supposed to say
Aye.
Good day.
So guys, you take care, walk good, enjoy the rest of the evening, and to all you the candidates that are out there for the Diaspora Advisory Board member position, good luck, campaign hard, be here for the people. It's a worthwhile position, and you'll need a lot of stamina. It's a lot of hard work. It's a thankless job, but as a servant, you understand what that is, and so we do it because of what needs to be done.
Yes.
Leo, big up, God bless, walk good, and
You're supposed to give me a kiss now. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Aye. Sherry Kerr, good afternoon to you. Carmen Palmer, Janet Ritchie, Laverne Deere says, glad you guys are back on. Donna Bowes Green, good day. Vicky Norton, good day to you, Vicky. And I saw a couple more names, but they slipped me. Let's see. Yes, Arnaud Gapasangra. That's Gapasangra. Good day. He says, watching me from the United Kingdom in Saudi Arabia. Oh, from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Nice. Elvira, she said, no sound. Joshua Spencer, no sound. That's a long time, man. Oh, that's a long time. Sure. Welcome, everybody. So the next person, his name is Dr. Rupert Francis. He is in the Midwest region, USA. So this morning we went to the eastern, the northeast. We were in the southeast. We had one gentleman from the southeast, and his name is Oliver Fallon Reed. And then we also had Carlene Larky from the northeast. We just had Dr. Ron Ingleton from the northeast. So we're going now to the Midwest, and we have Dr. Rupert Francis on the line, and he has some things to say to us. Dr. Francis, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Good to have you, man. Good to have you. Been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, it's been a while, yes.
But I also know that you've been doing some great things out there too.
Well, I've been trying to follow in your good footsteps, you know what I mean? You've laid the foundation.
Currently, you are the, thank you. Currently, you are the alternate or the outgoing alternate advisory board member. So you are an incumbent alternate advisory board member, and you're now running for the advisory board member. How is that going for you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm to be quite honest with you, I'm kind of a late starter in the sense that I had to be in Jamaica representing the Jamaica Diaspora Crime Intervention and Prevention Task Force last week. We took serious work on behalf of the diaspora. For those persons who do not believe that we do some work, we do a lot of work. And it is, as Dr. Sue said, a little bit thankful, but it's also thankful because, our hearts are full because, we're doing something for our motherland. And but I'm telling you something, it is something that I have done for the past many, many years, but especially in the past 2 years from the Midwest perspective. And I tell you, I have grown immensely for it. We are doing a lot of work. It's a pity that a lot of people do not see the type of work that you Dwayne, Kimon, and myself. I mean, Kimon and I were like, ran an election against each other, and then now we're joining it. I mean, that's how it should be, And I enjoy every moment. It's been fantastic overviews. We have done a lot of outreach, and we're not going to stop. So, in regards to me personally, I am not saying I'm confident, but I've done a lot of work, and if people see the leadership and the determination and the passion that I bring to the table, then they will join me to make sure that we continue.
That's great to hear. Let me ask you a quick question here, Dr. Francis. What is it that you see that you can make a big difference? Because I know that Kimon has done a wonderful job in that region. What is it that you're going to do to create Dr. Francis, Diaspora Advisory Board member that's so different and so profitable and so positive for the West Midwest region?
First of all, I say this, I'm going to reach out to every nook and cranny in the area in terms of where Jamaicans are, and we're going to visit them on a town hall basis. That's an objective I have for the next 2 years. To explain to them why it is important for them to take part in the diaspora and the diaspora activity. Because we want to make them understand that Jamaicans abroad and Jamaicans at home are one and the same. We have one aim, one destiny, and we should have one voice. And if we do that, we can make a difference. For example, let us deal with the issue of crime. You know that a year ago we started Jamaica Crime Intervention Prevention Task Force, which I started with some colleagues. And the whole idea behind it is to look at crime from a different perspective, a holistic perspective, from several different, from a criminal justice point of view, law enforcement, military, social point of view, faith-based point of view, every type of view that you could bring to the table, because we want to find and to make some solutions to this issue. A lot of people may say, okay, fine, it is not an issue, but you see, even though there are people that are killing themselves right now, yes, and so on, but we're not used to this. We're used to reggae. We're used to the fun that you talked about. We're used to quality. If I walk into a restaurant today in the United States and a man talk, or in a supermarket, I said, yes, yeah, they say yes, and we greet each other. Why can't we do that everywhere? That's our personality. And I'd love to see this continue and infuse the world, because we're one of the, if not the most well-known in the world. And we have a personality that is second to none.
That's great. And you mentioned crime. You are the leader of the crime task force, and I know you were down in Jamaica. There's someone brought up the whole idea about, persons going to Jamaica are not going to Jamaica because crime is so rampant and so forth. It's blocking trade and investment and so forth. Tell us, what do you see being the leader of the crime task force? What are the things that we can do to reduce that fear and to also encourage the growth and the growth in business and trade and investment to our country? What is it that will?
Well, first of all, there's a real cost of crime and so on and so forth. But let me say this to you: crime is everywhere. Yes, we agree that. But at the same time, it's intolerable that it could be at this level in Jamaica at this time. Although it does not necessarily affect all sectors of the society the same way, because there are literally two Jamaicans. But there's 10% of our gross domestic product that is spent every year. 10% on the crime and its impact. And we lose about 4% of our GDP from crime. So if we could invest that money into crime prevention and intervention, that means that we could grow our economy by at least that, and that would actually tremendous feat. So as far as I'm concerned, we have to invest in ourselves to make sure that we can reduce it. Some of the crime, for example, let us talk about the lotto scamming and so on and so forth. These people can be seen in a different light. We can catch them early now, from the early stages. We may not be able to catch them, but we can catch them at early, because we can't kill all of them. So that's not the point. The point is to catch them early, because these people who take a telephone and take money from people all over the world, they should be seen as not necessarily criminals all the time, but they could be geniuses in the making. So to find them, catch them early, and prevent and intervene, then they won't have a crime problem as such. Because what they're having is sort of gang and turf warfare in between them. We have a serious problem. But to be quite honest with you, you can go to Jamaica, as you say, you can be very, very safe. But the key is to make sure, because we could double our income, double our output in the tourism field, for example, if we didn't have these issues.
Tell us. Do you have a slogan? Do you have a slogan?
A slogan, of course.
You do?
Yes, we want to speak. Yes, we want to speak for as one voice, for one people, for one Jamaica. That's what we want to do. We want to harness the power of the diaspora. We are working on the concepts of the Vision 2030, which indicates that our number one priority is citizen security. The next priority, and also the Economic Growth Council, is also to harness the diaspora and to harness the talent in the diaspora. There's so much talent in the diaspora that it's kind of a good way. Let me put it this way. Jamaicans really contribute to the Jamaican economy in many ways. But if we came together as a cohesive body, which I think that's why the diaspora was formed, then perhaps we could make a more significant impact on the society. Let me give you one example. If every Jamaican, over 3.5 to 4 million Jamaicans, more than in Jamaica, were to invest $10 of their money into it, somehow, some way, somewhere else, then we would have $35 billion US available to us. I talk about $10, and that's only a minuscule amount. So can you imagine the value added if everybody wanted to come back to Jamaica and wanted to, and then we can get rid of these perceptions about Jamaica, and they can proceed to walk free in Jamaica. It's a tremendous impact on the economy, tremendous impact on Jamaica. And it takes vision to do that. It takes vision and hard work, what you and I and other people like us are doing to make people understand that Jamaica has potential. Don't turn your back on Jamaica. Because let me tell you something, it is a God-blessed country. Okay?
What do you think, I love that, what do you think the conference, the diaspora conferences have done for the diaspora movement over the years? Do you think the conference is a good thing? Because there have been talk before that we don't know whether or not the conference is going to be held and all that good stuff, but it is. But what do you think about the conference?
Let me make it quite clear that the Diaspora Conference is the single most crystallizing event for diaspora. And we should really take advantage to meet and discuss with Jamaica what our perceptions are and how we can assist each other in the growth of the nation. The Diaspora Conference brings us together. And what is happening is you have a few people who are sitting on the sidelines. And I say to you that they're suffering from what is called the bystander effect. They want Jamaica to move. They want Jamaica to grow. They want Jamaica to do, but they're not willing to do anything to do it. They absolutely wear our colors. They absolutely do everything and call themselves Jamaican. But when it comes to stepping outside their comfort zone and doing something, apart from sending on a few dollars, that's something you have to put your passion, put your patriotism in front. And that's what the conference belongs to. And it has grown exponentially. And we are, a lot of people think that we are being led by XYZ. No, we're not. We are autonomous. All of the task forces are autonomous. We work autonomously. We spend our own money. Okay? We say, yes, but we will eventually get funding. Let me make it quite clear, Leo. Recently, you said I went to Jamaica. I went to Jamaica on behalf of the task force to do serious work, which I cannot necessarily talk about all the time. But it was fully funded. Okay? So I'm saying to people, yes, but it did not come overnight. It takes time, and it takes patience, and it takes, development and vision, and you have to have a plan, and you have to work at the plan. It just does not happen. Nothing is going to drop in your lap, my friend. As you will know. So that's basically how I see the conference. I see the conference as a God-blessed opportunity for all of us to Jamaica.
That's nice to hear. Last question I wanted to ask you is, what is it about what have you learned, right? What have you learned from engaging with the crime task force? What are some of the things that you did to engage the task force, and how are you executing?
Well, let me say this to you. First of all, I did a fact-finding mission. I also talked to very experienced people. like yourself and who have been in the system for a very long time. I found out how to do the things here. I found out how to do things with Jamaica. I found out what their likes are and their dislikes are as a Jamaican. I had to really look at it and I had to go. So what we did was we took a fact-finding mission to Jamaica for 11 days. And during that 11 days, we met with everybody, proposition, opposition, everything, every faith-based organizations, action, NGOs, etc., etc. We met with, for example, we met with the National Health Action, and we formed relationships, we formed partnerships, and what have you, because we all have a similar problem. And we learned, we talked to the police, we talked to the army, we talked to everybody that was involved, we talked to the people, the man on the street, and we came up with an effective plan that was a short, medium, and a long-term plan with some achievable objectives. So far, we are way beyond our objectives. For example, we are doing things like the Safer City Initiative. We are working with the police. We are working with partners in Jamaica. And we are working on the conference and bringing all people for the conference. We are also establishing diaspora task force centers in the UK. And I just recently returned from that. That is doing fantastic as well. And we are working on Canada. We are helping in the areas of the crime bill, for example. We are looking at the crime bill. We are looking at the corrections bill that is on the table right now. And we are also speaking with the Justice Department to see if we can assist Wade Golding, for example, and other people like that are looking at see if they can work on the case management structure. We have a deportation committee that we assisted in starting as well, task force that is. And that is helping to Jamaicans who are finding themselves in a situation, not only from a helping stand, but to prevent that from happening and intervening before it happens. So what I have learned is that it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of patriotism, and sometimes your heart is going to be broken. Sometimes you're going to feel as if you cannot go anymore. But let me make it quite clear: the people who are put themselves forth to do this type of work have to be special. They have to have leadership qualities. They have to have vision. And they have to, more importantly, believe in a nation that must believe in itself. And I think that if they do that and they do that, then they will leave a lasting legacy for those to come. And they must develop future leaders too as a way of succession planning. And I think that's what I have learned from the whole process. It is gratifying, yet it is awe-inspiring to see what you can do if you really put your mind to it. And I encourage all Jamaicans listening, I encourage everyone out there to get involved, both at home and abroad, because crime has a very serious cost. It may not be obvious right now, but if we do not curb it, we are going to have some serious problems. But that's not the only issue. We also have to develop various areas, especially through education, especially through the society and the social areas. We have to develop a communication system between the police and our community. And we have to be in an eclectic or multifaceted area, and we have to develop a Jamaican model for that. Once the Jamaican model is complete, and we have to have people of all different stripes. We have to put our differences behind. No matter what, we have so many people involved in this process right now. You think it's a united nation. So that's basically what we're talking about.
I want to thank you, Dr. Francis, for the hard work that you've put into your campaigns, and then I meant the task force campaigns. But I also am wishing you all the best in this election. I hope you go out and campaign some more today before the end of the day. And I know there are two other persons in the West Midwest region who are vying to capture that particular empty seat, that space that is left after Kim Ward has left. So thank you very much again for a wonderful interview.
I want to thank you, Leo, for having me on board, and I want to say this to my persons who are vying against me. Good luck, and you get better to work hard, because I do not stop. And I will work with you regardless of the outcome, but I do expect a positive outcome on our team, because we are working very, very hard to keep the continuity going and to make sure that we can achieve what we start.
All right. And you have a wonderful day, my friend. You take care now.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Great, great. Dr. Rupert Francis joining us from California. He lives out there somewhere in the Inland Valley in California. And wanting to say a special good day to Laverne Deer, who's there, Miss Home. We have Mitch. We have Andrea Gale. Good day, Andrea. Delroy Silk. Hey, Delroy, Chris Silk. Good day.
I wanted to
I'm still doing that.
He's there. Patricia Watson. Thank you for joining. Nikki Officer. Joshua Spencer, thank you for being there. I'm going to reach out to Marie Kellier. We have two other persons left before the end of the show. Miss Marie Kellier is one, and I'm about to reach out to Miss Kellier right now to get her to be online so she can answer pretty much the same questions that have been asked for the other candidates all morning. So thank you for staying with us. Hopefully she will pick up. If she doesn't pick up, then I go straight to we'll go straight to the other candidate. But I want to say thank you for being here this morning. We had a heck of a time trying to get on Comcast. Had some interruptions this morning. We were on waiting for the show to start at 8:59, and I clicked the button and I didn't get anything. I was there watching other programs, and we clicked the button, and all of a sudden, bam, it went down. And so it's so funny that it took us out for the next 2.5 hours before we actually got any kind of service to come back to us. So, and my show is running late today just because of that, what we call probably technological snafu. Oh my gosh. All right, but let me see if I can get the other young lady online. Her name is Judy Lee Chen Sang. She is another of the candidates on the West Coast that's vying for the Diaspora Advisory Board member's position. She said she'll be in a little meeting, so I hope she can step out and take this. Aside from that, then we probably gonna have to say good day until later on tomorrow again, when we will be probably playing music. Today there's no music, but because we have such a tight schedule, trying to get all of these guys going. But it seems like Ms. Chen Sang is not available, obviously because we have not been on the show during the time that we promised to have been there. But please know that we're asking everyone to go out and vote in your constituency. The Canada's election is coming up also, so if you live in Canada, there is a place that you can go and you can go and vote. New York, Northeast, there's a place you can vote. You can vote online. West Midwest, you can vote online. And also in the South, you can vote online. So the online place that you want to go, the page in the internet website is www.callingallJamaicans.org. That's www.callingallJamaicans.org, and search for your region. There's the West Midwest, there's the Northeast, and there's also the Southeast. Please, if you have not seen a member of one of the nominees or the candidates, or you heard them today speaking, if you missed your candidate, the one that you are of your choice, it's probably because they did not accept the invitation, because I invited everyone to be on the show. One declined. There was one decline, and then there are two who were supposed to be here, but I'm sure because the show went on for this long today, we could not catch them. And so we'll probably catch them another week, hopefully. All right, so you have a wonderful day. This is the Saturday Morning Fix, an extended rendition of the Saturday Morning Fix, as we do this every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Today we were late getting started, but I think we got what's done. It's being recorded, so you can always go back and pick this up and review. So please, thank you for joining. Wanting to say thanks again to Joshua Spencer, Delroy Chris, Nikki Officer, Laverne Deer, Patricia Watson, Miss Gail, Andrea Gale, Angela Latigo Mr. Samba, Luna Samba, Charles Wood, Vicky Norton, Winnie Mead, and everyone from in Saudi Arabia and the persons in Kuwait, LV, Ray. Thank you guys for joining. It's really been one of those days for me. Mr. Freckleton, Miss Freckleton, Charmin Freckleton, thank you. Ms. Lati Bodair, Vivette Malcolm, thank you very much. Donald Powell, Karen Chung, Han Ohm, you name it, everyone who joined. Adolph Mitchell, thank you for joining from California. Yemi Adebayo, thank you, been a long time Facebook friend of mine. Yemi, thank you for being there. Vaughn Tucker, thank you. Everton Hanam, the Jamaica Parent Teachers Association, the National Parent Teachers Association President, Mr. Everton Hanam. Howard Isaacs, JTA President, thank you for joining. Wayne Williams, I think you're in California this weekend. Thank you for joining. Barbara Barrett, thank you. Alreen Richards Barr, thank you. Yvonne Paul Panther, and everyone, if I didn't call your names, thank you for being on the show today. It's been a pleasure being here, being with you, and I will see you again soon and next time. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye now.